Hey, yo, it's a truck driver. Check this out. 1932, World War I vets.
Washington was under siege. The capital was surrounded by over 10,000 unemployed veterans of World War I from all over the country. Their only assets were the bonus certificates they'd been given after the war, which promised a cash bonus sometime in the future. They needed it now.
I came to Washington to get my bonus, and I'm going to wait till I get it if I have to wait till 1945.
What that brought you to Washington?
I had to beat the Undertaker, spend the money before the Undertaker gets it. I know who's made this country worth living in. It's just you fellas. Look, makes me so damn mad a whole lot of people speak of you as tramps. By God, they didn't speak of you as tramps in 1917 and 18. No. Take it from me, this is the greatest demonstration of Americanism we've ever had. Pure Americanism.
President Hoover was left to deal with the veterans when the Senate rejected their demands. The marchers had stayed, camped out in central Washington.
It's war, the greatest concentration of fighting troops in Washington since 1865.
I knew something was going to happen, that they might be attacked. And I had a press card, so I passed the police lines, and then I saw the soldiers advancing into the camp. And when confronted with this, the men all stood there and said, "Stand firm as long as you can." And they started throwing tear gas. I'd never seen anything like it. They systematically went down the line, burned up all the tents and all the possessions of the people there. I was thinking of Herbert Hoover when this happened, because his election was in 3 months. I thought this would be the finish of Hoover.
The orders of the president must be obeyed, and the roaring flames sound the death knell to the fantastic bonus army. In the shadow of the beautiful dome of the capital of the United States of America.
Well, that was 1932, what our government did to our World War I veterans after they promised them bonuses for fighting in the First World War. Right now, we have people sitting in Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway, in these bureaucracies, in the Congress, in the Senate, in the White House, and a few more places I can't think of right off the top of my head, that are still screwing veterans from 1932 to 2014. And we see all these talking heads on TV, whether they're reporters, pundits, political types. And now they're saying, oh, we have a problem within the VA. We have veterans dying from lack of treatment. I don't know, people. I keep waiting for the average Joe Sixpack to wake up and say, you know what? We've been getting screwed for years. And it's only been in the advent of the last 4 weeks when all of a sudden it was exposed that 40 veterans in the Phoenix, Arizona VA hospital died for lack of treatment. And they found these secret lists that were put out to put people on hold. And now it's expanded to maybe possibly over 1,700 veterans that may have died from lack of treatment by the Veterans Administration hospitals. And about 26 to 40 different hospitals are now under investigation. Now, you've heard me go on this rant for a long time. Should be nothing new. How the Veterans Administration about 15, 18 years ago, damn near killed my father twice. And as far as I'm concerned, the Philly VA did kill my buddy Bill DeToro through lack of treatment. But now we have this dog and pony show going on down there in Washington, D.C., and all the pundits, all the political types were calling for the head of General Shinseki. Barack Obama knew about this problem since 2008. George Jr. Bush knew about this back when Walter Reed Hospital was a total disaster. Nothing's ever really changed, has it? These people all pay lip service and then hope it eventually will get swept under the carpet, or the American people that have a memory about as long as my nose will forget about it. And now all of a sudden they're talking about, well, maybe now we should allow these veterans to sit there and go to private hospitals to be treated and cared for because the VA is so overloaded. Well, the VA was overloaded back in 1932. Congress sat there and screwed over 10,000 veterans out of their bonus checks for fighting in World War I. Has anything really changed since 1932? I just asked the questions. You know that. I happened to catch a little video blurb on Fox News about a bunch of irate senators and congressmen on this veterans oversight thing, and they're having hearings, and they're grinding down on these mid-level people that work for the Veterans Administration. And this one guy, it's the typical bureaucratic BS. I am a dedicated federal employee. And like the lady said, did you know about this beforehand? And none of these people that were being, grilled, had anything positive to say. Then you got Jay Carney sitting there in the White House at the news conference, and even now the liberal bleeding heart media is starting to grill Carney, and Carney's making excuses left and right for Obama and his administration. Nothing's changing, folks. When are you going to wake up and see this? Nothing is changing. They're going to investigate it. They're going to have all kinds of hearings to ad nauseum, and in the end, nothing's going to change. But here's where I have to call out people in the Veterans Administration. And yeah, 80% of them are union federal employees. But out of that 80% of union federal employees, how many of you yourself are veterans? From World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Middle East wars, Iraq, Afghanistan, etc. If you knew this was going on and didn't say or do anything about it, you are as much at fault as the rest of these morons because you didn't say anything. But we know how the whistleblower campaign goes. We've seen it in Benghazi. We've seen it with Edward Snowden. You will be punished for speaking the truth.
You've got mail.
But in the meantime, we still have a backlog, depending on who you talk to, between 608,000 veteran claims that have not been processed, which goes back over 10 years. We still have veterans' files that have not been digitized to the tune of 80% are still manila folders. And last year, the VA got $500 million, and what did they spend it on? Oh, drapes, furniture, stuff like that. They didn't spend it on doctors or other employees. And then you wonder why I go on a rant and say, if you knew anything about it, you just need to be fired or resigned. And we still got John Boehner, Nancy Pelosi sitting there saying, oh, well, we have to give General Shinseki the benefit of the doubt. Really? Do Do me a favor, somebody go down to Washington, D.C. with a baseball bat, slap the crap out of Boehner and Pelosi, and give them some coffee and give them a wake-up call. You got to remember now, for almost 5 going on 6 years, Obama's administration was going to be the most transparent administration on the face of the earth. Did you miss something here? And then I see people like, just for sake of argument, Bob Beckel on the 5 on Fox News, screaming liberal, always making excuses. Juan Williams on Fox News, screaming liberal, they got fired. Always making excuses for the Democrats and the liberals. You know what? I really don't give a flying fig if you're a liberal or you're a conservative, if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat. When we have American troops dying from lack of medical care, which they were promised, there's something seriously wrong with the American society today. But see, we've seen this go all the way back to 1932. I just showed it to you in black and white video. And by the way, just to remind you, okay, when in 1932 they ran those veterans out of the park, okay, you know who it was that initiated this? General Dwight D. Eisenhower, under the supervision of another general who I can't think of his name right now, who Herbert Hoover sat there and said, these people are embarrassing, get them the hell out of here. And yet, World War II, General Eisenhower became the golden boy and later the President of the United States. But see, all that got swept under the rug as they ran the World War I veterans out of Washington, D.C., burnt their tent village and everything else. That's how much our government cares about veterans. Now, you know me. I've pretty much separated myself from the VA. But I want to remind the Veterans Administration, General Shinseki, and the rest of these morons, okay? It took 40 years for the VA to even admit that any Vietnam vet that had boots on the ground in Vietnam had come into contact with Agent Orange. My question to the VA today, whether you're an active related individual within the VA hospital system, or anything else, why don't we have an automatic claim for 10 to 30% disability for contact with Agent Orange having served in Vietnam? Oh no, you have to go jump through the hoops, kiss their backside, play their stupid frigging games before you can get anything done or you can get a grant or anything else. But see, after 40 years, the VA admitted it. Anybody with a DD-214 that had Vietnam vet service should, without even having to file a claim, be getting something from the VA. And me, at my age, I don't really care, but what I do worry about is my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. Did those dioxins from Monsanto and Dow Chemical infect me and cause genetic damage that's going to show up later on in my progeny's life? Oh, we don't know about that, do we? But we are $17 trillion in the hole thanks to these idiots that we have inside the Beltway. And actually, if you count the unfunded mandates, we're $121 trillion in debt. Federal Reserve, everybody else, I promise you, next 2 to 3 years, if something doesn't turn around, our economy's going in the toilet, so I don't guess it'll matter anyway. But see, veterans are being screwed left and right. Why does it take 115 days to get an appointment with a primary doctor? You've already heard me talk about the fact that they tell you, well, if it's an emergency, go to a private hospital, tell them you're a vet, and all that. The problem is later on down the line, the VA sits there and says, well, that's not a covered thing under us. You have to eat the bill for it. And, of course, people like me, which have what they call non-service-connected disabilities, in other words, we weren't shot, we didn't get a Purple Heart, the rest of that, we haven't been classified PTSD or Agent Orange, we eat shit, bark at the moon and all that, and pay for our own medical care because the VA won't. In my case, they can kiss my ass. I wouldn't go in a VA hospital if you held a loaded gun on me. They damn near killed my dad twice in Florida on heart conditions. They did kill my buddy Bill DeToro on a cancer situation. They just gave him pills, sent him home, said, here, go die. So while all these geniuses down there in Washington, D.C. want to debate this thing to death to ad nauseum, everybody makes threats. Nobody has a set of cojones to go in there and saying, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Union rules be damned. Fire them anyway and let them sue you in court. But like I've told you before, anybody inside the Beltway, especially the Pentagon, once you get your stars and bars, 99.5% of them are no longer soldiers. They're politicians wearing a monkey suit. And then you get these geniuses inside the Capitol with all these hearings, these oversight hearings. Well, geez, what happened with all the oversight before this thing came out about the vets dying at the VA? Where was the veterans' oversight then? Who was watching the door while a fox got in the hen house, huh? And again, like I say, they'll debate it to ad nauseum. In the end, nothing will ever really happen or change. It's going to take people like me, people like Montel Williams, who went off nationally. See, he's famous. He gets a lot of airtime. Me, I'm one 67-year-old dumb truck driver, don't know jack shit. I'm lucky if I get 40 to a 50, maybe 100 hits on any video I put up about anything. Politics, sex, religion, whatever. It's about time you morons out there start taking guys like me serious and making our videos go viral and embarrass the news media, embarrass the government, embarrass the Pentagon, embarrass who the hell ever else, the Veterans Administration, or the IRS, or the Department of Justice. I mean, I can run the litany on you. But see, it's the way the system is. The system's broken from the top down. And don't even get me going on the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, or our Bill of Rights, because our government has trashed most of it, and it's only been people like Edward Snowden that made this crap aware. And thank God to that doctor that retired out of the Phoenix VA and finally blew the whistle on these people, and the people that backed him up and verified what he said, because it went from one hospital to about 40 across the United States now. And I'm sure there's more dirt they're going to dig up. They're going to find out more vets that died from lack of treatment or not even being able to get an appointment with a primary doctor, much less follow-up. So to you geniuses inside the Beltway that want to hold your congressional and senatorial hearings, your investigative hearings, your oversight hearings, where the fuck were you 10, 12, 14, 20 years back, much less 1932, when the World War I vets got screwed out of their vet bonuses? And you think I'm so goddamn dumb. Newsflash, I'm retired. I got time to jump online and go hunting and looking, and I will do what I can to embarrass your ass, including the liberalistic media. Idiots like Jay Carney, Boehner, Pelosi, the rest of them have to vote for it to find out what's in it. Yeah. How about it, America? Why don't you go look up little small bloggers like me that have shit to say about this stuff, and then get it out there and make it go viral. Make these bastards inside the Beltway, or even your state capitals or your county seats or your borough halls, make them squirm a little when their crap is exposed to broad daylight and the truth comes out. Oh no, you ain't got time. You want to watch porn crap, stupid videos about people doing stupid stuff, jumping off of buildings or in ponds or something. That's the shit that gets the million hits. God forbid you stop and think about, this video could save somebody's life. I need to pass it on. But what do I know? I'm a dumb truck driver. I'm a Vietnam vet. I don't know nothing. Anyhow, that's my rant. You go live with it. I've been talking about this ad nauseum. And if it turns around and pops up in your own family life someday and it bites you in the ass and you didn't do anything about it, don't say you weren't warned. Truck driver said so. Ugly Trucker's opinion. Later.